Alec Arpey. I'm a first year at Cal Poly, and today I'm going to be running you through my 3 Odyssey plans. And in case you're unfamiliar with which plan is which, the first plan covers my current trajectory, the second plan covers what I would do if that first plan was wiped out, and the third plan covers what I would do if money or people's judgment of me was no longer a factor in my decisions. So the first plan here is my journey to infinity and beyond. And before we jump into it, some 3 main ideas to consider are education and career, travel and cultural immersion, and interests and passion. And those 3 ideas were kind of the cornerstones when making these plans, and you can find those 3 themes in all 3 plans. And if you take a look at the timeline, you can see all 3 of those themes. So first, to run through the education and career, I will start out by taking astronomy GEs. And over the summer, I will get a customer service job back in Seattle, Washington. And the reason I'm not trying to get a field-specific job is because I think I would have too little experience to do that. So this customer service job would be to just build up my resume. And the next summer, I would intern at a startup. I would be too early again to jump into a big company, so a startup would be a much more realistic goal. And I would concentrate in financial management at the end of my sophomore year. And the next summer, I would plan on interning at a large company. I think I would have a lot of experience, so I would be ready for that jump. And after graduation, I would move to Pasadena, California to get a job as a level 1 financial analyst at NASA. That is the base level there. And for 2024, my goal would be to get a promotion and work my way up through the ranks there. And if you look at travel and cultural immersion, as you can see, I plan to travel every year. I have an upcoming trip to Portugal this summer, and in 2021 I would like to travel to London. If there wasn't a worldwide pandemic, I would actually be in London right now, but unfortunately I'm going to have to postpone that a little bit. And I would like to travel to Munich in 2022, do a road trip across Europe after I graduate, and visit Brazil in 2024. And along with the cultural immersion, I want to try to learn German and Russian. Both of my parents speak those languages, and I think it would be very cool to do that. And lastly, looking at interests, soccer is a huge part of my life, and I definitely want to incorporate that into my future. So as you can see, it is present in all parts of my future. As you can see, I would like to start an intramural soccer team, visit the World Cup in 2022, and go to the Euros in 2024. That's the European soccer tournament. And here we have a dashboard looking at some different levels of how I feel about this. Confidence is not as high just because I think it could be tough to do. I'm not sure if I'll have the ability to get the job I want. Again, with resources, I don't have any strong connections in that industry, and I'm not sure if I'll have enough funds to complete everything that I want to do. Coherence is really high. I think it's really true to myself. Everything kind of fits together. It progresses logically. And likability, I definitely like it a lot. All my interests fit into it. I think I would enjoy this a lot. And some questions that are arisen with this plan. Will I have enough experience to get my desired job? Will I have the funds to travel as much as I wish? Am I suited to live in 3 different places in a short period of time? I've lived in Seattle my entire life, apart from the half a year I've spent at Cal Poly, and so I'm just not sure if I'd be ready to be bouncing around as quickly as I would. And moving on to the second plan, real estate mogul in the making. So a lot of the aspects are similar, so I have bolded what changes. Obviously a big change is what I would concentrate in. I would switch to real estate finance. It's one of the newer programs at Cal Poly, and it's something that definitely has caught my eye. I would then intern at Windermere in Seattle instead of at a undetermined large company. And then instead of moving to Pasadena, California, I would move to New York City and get a base level role at a large real estate firm. And in 2024, I would again look to get that promotion. And then as you can see, confidence and resources are definitely a lot higher. One big resource that I have is I have a lot of relatives that work in real estate, specifically my aunt and uncle both work for Windermere, so I think that's a really strong connection to have. I also just think there's less uncertainties, that's why my confidence is higher. Coherence is not as high, but It's still high. It again progresses logically. It's just not as true to myself as the first plan. And likability, again, it is not as high just because, again, it's not my first choice. And some potential questions: will I be able to get the internships I desire? Again, strong resources might not be enough to get those internships as quickly as I hope. Will I have the funds to travel as much as I wish? That question stays the same because, like I said, I want to travel a lot, and I'm just not sure if I will be able to accumulate the funds to do that as much as I do. And will I be able to adjust to the life in New York City? It's a very fast-paced, work-oriented environment, so I'm not sure if I'm cut for it, so the only way to find out is to try it. And next we have following the footsteps of Mino Raiola. In case you don't know who he is a sports agent, one of the biggest in the world in soccer. And so the first big change in this plan is I would declare a minor in communication. That is essential for becoming a sports agent. I would then concentrate in marketing management and get a role behind the scenes for the Cal Poly soccer team. And in 2022, I would intern at the Seattle Sounders, that is the soccer club in Seattle, which would be a great piece of experience. And in 2023, I would move to London and get a job at Colossal Sports Management, which is a fairly large agency firm in Europe. And in 2024, I would hope to take on my first client. And as you can see, confidence is very low for this one. It's just, it's an industry that I don't know a whole lot about, and I'm just not sure about all the steps I would need to do to get my desired job. Resources again is lower because I do not have a whole lot of connections in that industry, especially in Europe. Coherence again is still pretty strong because it progresses logically, and it's pretty true to myself as well. And likability is obviously very high, especially if this is something that I think would be really cool to do, especially living in London. And some potential questions that this brings up: will I be able to manage a minor? It is not something that I've thought about so far, so just not sure if I'd be able to manage extra load of classes. Will I be able to land a client as quickly as I wish? Again, I don't know how quickly I can progress through that industry, so I don't know yet if after 1 to 2 years getting my first client is a realistic goal. And lastly, will I struggle moving to a new country? I'm not sure if I would experience any culture shock. Obviously, there's no language barrier, which is very helpful, but it could still be tough living in a new country. And lastly, I just wanted to talk about why it's important to make these types of Odyssey plans. One huge thing is you can learn about yourself. That's what I hit on with those 3 cornerstones. It's when making these plans and seeing how you want to build your future, you really learn a lot about what's important to you. Next, you can set goals for yourself. It's really good to look into the future and see where you want to be. And that kind of ties in with this last point here of preparing yourself. If you set those goals, you can know what you need to do to get to where you want to be. So thank you very much. That's my